Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the League of Oregon Cities 100th, the 100th annual conference here in the great city of Portland, Oregon. Presenting the colors today are members of the Portland Fire and Rescue Honor Guard. I would like to ask everyone to please stand. Performing our national anthem this afternoon is Aiden Cole. Aiden is a junior at Grant High School in Northeast Portland.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Aiden Cole is a junior at Grant High School, where he participates in the Royal Blues Grant Dance Collective and the theater department. He has studied at Bridgetown Conservatory and has been on the stage for most of his life. He lives here in Northeast Portland with his mom, 2 dogs, and a cat, and he spends most of his free time with his guitar, writing songs, and he wants to study performance arts once he graduates.
When we come together at these conferences, we share ideas, we share problems, we share solutions, and it's really awesome because a lot of times I walk away with great ideas from other cities that I can take home and then try to implement in my community. So I love the networking that the LOC conferences and the trainings provide.
Having the classes at the LOC events, listening to the speakers, meeting other counselors and mayors, city managers, it's just an invaluable experience that I think for any new elected official, it should be #1 on your list.
The reason I come to this conference every single year is because I get information, I get connections, I get resources that I can take back to my city to make our community better. And I leave energized, I leave encouraged, and I leave with new friends that we can work together to move our communities forward.
Every city, there is something that the League can do for every single jurisdiction, all 241 cities. And I hope that they know that, because they need to know that they are not alone.
And now, please welcome the president of the League of Oregon Cities, the mayor of the city of North Bend, Jessica Engelke.
This girl is on fire! You having a good time so far? All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and it is so great to be here in Portland, Oregon, celebrating our 100th year. When you pause and look back, it's humbling to think about the milestones that our cities and our people have achieved over the last century. In 1925, we were laying trolley tracks and typing on manual machines. And in 2025, we're laying fiber, filing building permits on our phones, and asking AI to help draft our policy memos. So somewhere in between there, between the rotary phone and our group text, Oregon cities kept showing up for their residents and learning, growing, and improving. 100 years of milestones is a long list, but a few stand tall. Cities modernized water and sewer systems. They built parks and libraries. They professionalized public safety and created planning tools that shaped livability. Oregon led with land use planning and projects helping farms and forests while helping cities grow, but with intention. We expanded transit, emergency management, and regional collaboration. And for democracy, we saw voting rights strengthen. The voting age was lowered to bring young voices to the table. The civil rights and fair housing protections expanded. There was the Americans with Disabilities Act that opened doors. There was marriage equality and automatic voter registration, making participation simpler and more accessible. Progress is never finished, but we have come a very long way together. Since 1925, we also upgraded a few things. Back then, a city budget lived in a binder the size of a brick. Today, it lives in the cloud. And in 1925, a city meeting might be noticed on a bulletin board or a tree stump. In 2025, it's on your website, social media, and in your mailbox with a live stream. These were different tools, but it's the same mission: to serve people and to serve them well. That mission is the heart of the League of Oregon Cities. The League exists to empower Oregon cities and their leaders by developing policy and legislation, providing training and resources, and sharing best practices so that our communities are strong, vibrant, equitable, healthy, and safe. Over the last 10 months, as your president, I have watched the LOC staff and board live that mission. They advocate, they convene, they roll up their sleeves, and they help you solve real problems. I had the privilege of traveling with our executive director and visiting every region in the state. We sat together to talk about revenue challenges facing our cities and other pressing issues. We brainstormed, we learned from each other, we laughed, sometimes we cried, and we definitely sighed a lot. But we always left feeling comforted that none of us are doing this work alone. It's been quite the experience traveling to the different cities in Oregon, from seeing the Oregon Trail ruts in the east and learning that Oregon has a town called Island City, to driving through the Klamath Basin, to exploring northern Tillamook Coast, and wrapping up this month in the Three Sisters. Standing in your landscape has given me a deeper perspective to serve you better as your president, and a deeper pride to serve as an Oregonian. It's so great to see so many of you here today. We have 140 cities in attendance. Yeah. This is our largest turnout since the pandemic, with over 450. Baby, we are back. I want to give a special shout out to 3 of our smallest cities here: Detroit, Paisley, and Nehalem, all under 300 people. Thank you. Thank you to all the small cities for showing up. And a welcome to our largest cities. Okay, we have Portland with over 700,000 people here. And then there's our second and third largest cities, Salem and Eugene. They're always neck and neck in population. And I'm not gonna step into that fight with them of who's bigger or who's not bigger with Eugene and Salem, because however that math comes out, somehow they'll say it's Portland's fault. Just kidding. We love you, Portland, and we are here for you. I know that the world can feel a little upside down sometimes, and that is why that we are here. This conference is built for you to learn, to connect, and to take home practical tools, things that you can start learning this week and using immediately. We have a trade show packed with solutions and breakout sessions with ideas that you can implement immediately. There's networking breaks where the best ideas sneak in over coffee or a conversation with maybe a new partner or a new friend, because isn't that one of the favorite parts of everybody's conference, the people that they meet? We have sessions on PERS, a hands-on workshop for AI for cities. And we'll have a morning session with our Oregon State Representative, Tobias Reed. I apologize, our Secretary of State, Tobias Reed. A remarkable panel with former Governor Barbara Roberts and State Treasurer Elizabeth Steiner and former Senator Betsy Johnson. So much to look forward to. Our keynotes including a leading expert on Gen Z and millennials who will help us turn our differences into strengths. And our closing keynote is a futurist with Rebecca Ryan, who will challenge us to think boldly about what is next for Oregon's community. Thank you to our LOC staff and board, our sponsors, and our host city. We thank you for all of the work you do on the street and in every neighborhood. This conference is for you, and it's one fit for a centennial celebration. So here we are, 100 years later, and in 1925, you may have brought a notebook, but today, I'm guessing you brought your charger. Our tools are new, but our purpose is the same. So let's kick off this conference and make Oregon's next 100 years even better than the last. It's my turn to introduce to you our host mayor, Mr. Keith Wilson. Mayor Wilson serves as Portland's first mayor in its new form of government, born and raised in North Portland. Mayor Wilson is a longtime business owner and is focused on ending unsheltered homelessness and making Portland a great place to live, work, and visit. So please welcome Mayor Keith Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor Engelke. What a wonderful day, what a wonderful event, and we're so proud to have the League of Oregon Cities and your 100th annual conference here. I'm also thrilled to have many of our counselors here as well, which is, thank you. First time I've ever given a speech. For a century, the League has united Oregon cities, giving us a powerful collective voice to advocate for our communities. That partnership has never been more important as we work to strengthen our cities and serve the people who count on us. While you're here, I hope you'll have a chance to go out and see what the city has to offer. You're going to be here through Saturday. The farmers markets are extraordinary. The Portland State University Farmers Market in the South Park blocks is wonderful and huge and take your appetite. We have independent bookstores, and with Powell's, it's the world's largest. Some of the most extraordinary and beautiful parks. Forest Park is one of our nation's largest and most lush, and then I was talking to some of the mayors a moment ago about our food scene. I'm sorry about that, but take some of that home and enjoy what the fruits of Portland can provide you. However you explore, I'm confident you'll experience the creativity and community spirit that really defines the city that I love, and I hope you do as well. I also want to acknowledge what you may have heard about Portland. And like big cities across the nation, we face unprecedented challenges, and certainly they were compounded even more so this past weekend. But we've made tremendous progress, and we're determined to do the hard and important work to keep us moving forward. Not only Portland, but for all Oregon cities. This is a milestone year, and it's a time to celebrate our progress and renew our relationships and celebrate our interconnectedness. Portland has a new city council, and we have 12 new councilors, and I was heartened when, upon their being sworn in, one of the first things that they did was join the League of Oregon Cities and became a part of the committees and the fabric and started visiting and joining you in your cities. Many of them are here today, and I'm very grateful for that. I joined my fellow mayors in Baker City just a few months ago, and I was welcomed with open arms, and many of them had said that they hadn't seen a Portland mayor in years. I've committed to flip that script and be a part of this organization because Portland needs you at this particular time, and we're not going to just come to you when we need help. We want to be there when you need help as well. And we want to invite you to Portland to be a part of our Renaissance. There are 35 other counties in this state. We want to be your front room. We showcased that desire a month ago when Mayor Doug Primer brought a truckload of fruits and vegetables from Umatilla County to Portland, and we celebrated at the Pioneer Courthouse Square. And his farmers came to Portland, and we matched them with 10 of our world-renowned chefs, and we had samples at Pioneer Courthouse Square, and we had an incredible festival. And thank you to the commissioners as well. That's what I want to do every year. I want this to be your front room, and I want us to enjoy what you have to provide to Oregon together. Commissioner Dan Doran sent me a thank you card, and it arrived today, and it said, Mayor Wilson, Keith, I cannot thank you enough for the opportunity to show off the bounty of Umatilla County in your front room. Portland is back. This council, my mayoral time, we're committed to working as hard as humanly possible so that someday when you bring your county or your city to celebrate at our living room using our new James Beard Public Market that's going to rival Pike's Place, I'm going to work as hard as humanly possible to where you write that thank you card and you write, Portland is back. And the strengthening of that relationship was challenged this past week, when the federal government announced they would be mobilizing troops to patrol on American soil, in an American city, on Americans in Portland. I've seen how we've been isolated in the past, and I've seen our mayor stand on a national stage alone. And I promised that if I were given the honor of becoming the mayor of Portland, I would not stand alone. I have a strong council. When that challenge was received just a few days ago, I called upon the mayors of the region and the state to lend their hand to Portland in our time of need. 18 of them showed up. We stood together to renounce the mobilization of our military. And I'm very proud. It was a very proud moment of my short time, and I'm sure it's something I'm going to be relying upon in the days ahead, and their advice has been invaluable. So thank you all for that. We know our challenges are real, but so is the hope I feel in this room from all of you. Leaders from every corner of Oregon, big cities and small, from all parties, are here because we share a lot more in common than our differences. That unity is the League's greatest strength. Thank you to the LOC board and staff for all the hard work that you've put together to bring this day to a reality. Thank you to the League for 100 years of service to every community member in Portland and in Oregon. It's an honor to be here, and I'm thrilled to have you in our front room today, and I promise all of us will work as hard as humanly possible to make sure that your time here is safe and wonderful. Thank you for this honor.
Please welcome now to the stage the Executive Director of the League of Oregon Cities, Patty Mulvihill.
Working 9 to 5, what a way to make a living, barely getting by. It's all taking and no giving, they just use your mind and they never give you credit. It's enough to drive you crazy and you let.
Now he's mocking me because I don't work 9 to 5. For those of you I haven't met yet, my name is Patty Mulvihill. I'm the Executive Director of the League of Oregon Cities, and it's my privilege and pride to welcome you here today. And before we begin with our celebration today, I do want to start with something that is personally important to me. I need to acknowledge that today is Yom Kippur, which is the Day of Atonement, and is the most solemn day of the year in the Jewish faith. Earlier today in Manchester, England, members of a local synagogue were attacked. The last time I checked, it was my understanding that there were 2 individuals who died and there were multiple injuries. Whether you are someone who prays or just sends good thoughts out into the world, I would ask that you do so today for those victims and for any member of the faith who is struggling about the safety of attending their synagogues. I want to apologize, both personally and professionally, that we scheduled our conference during this holiest of days. It was an oversight, and it does not, and it should not reflect the values of this organization. And it's probably created conflict and exclusion for many of our members, and I can't ever apologize strongly enough for that. But I can make it better going forward. And in the future, we have committed to always consulting with interfaith calendars before scheduling our events, so we don't ever have an event on a holiday and a Remembrance Day for those that matter. And while we can do better, I do ask that today, for all of us in this room, that you join me in wishing those who do observe Yom Kippur a meaningful and reflective day. This is an odd transition for me because we're going from a very solemn moment to the actual excitement piece, and I hope that doesn't come across poorly. But I do need to thank Mayor Wilson and the entire City Council of Portland for welcoming us to their community, and I want to thank the communities that surround Portland. There are multiple cities that just surround Portland that are offering tours at this event so that you can see their accomplishments, you can see their facilities, and it's really made this conference a very regional event. So we're not just focusing on Portland, we're focusing on the entire region. We can clap for that. I also want to keep my job, so we should thank the board of directors. And especially President Engelke for the support they provide me and the 17 other members of the League of Oregon Cities staff. And it's important to talk about staff because this conference here over the next few days, and quite frankly, every service or program we provide, it's only possible because of those 17 staff members. They work hard every single day to make sure that you have exactly what you need. So if you have any questions today, tomorrow, or Saturday, please find the closest LOC staff member. It's not only our privilege, it's also our joy to make sure that this conference is everything that you want it to be. Yeah. So before we get to the fun part where I introduce the sponsor of our keynote address, I've been given a list of things I must remind you of from that wonderful staff. So the first part is the good part. We are celebrating 100 years, and Mayor Engelke talked about some of the amazing things we've accomplished as a state and cities over those 100 years, and we want to recognize that, and we wanted this conference to be a little bit bigger and a little bit more important than we've done in the past. So this year, we made it a point to bring in nationally recognized speakers so that your educational programming was top-notch. We're going to enhance our networking events, so we'll have live entertainment. There'll be gift giveaways. It's going to be bigger and better than we normally do. And a particular favorite of mine, if you are coming to the Friday night awards dinner, there will be a specially designed 5-tier cake. And that cake, oh wait, you haven't even heard the best part yet. Each tier is being designed to reflect a specific region of the state of Oregon, so it can really showcase who we are and what we mean. And it's being made by Monmouth City Manager and LOC Board Director, Rochelle Roden. And it is legitimately the best cake I've ever had, because I had like half a sheet cake when she brought in the testing. Second thing I need to talk about today is joining us here today and throughout the entirety of the conference, there are regional and national partners who work with the League each day to ensure that cities and the work that you do is respected and honored. And so with us this week, we have Mayor Steve Patterson of Athens, Ohio. Mayor Patterson is the president of the National League of Cities, but what's really great, he's actually a proud son of Portland. He was born and raised right here in our state. Kelly Packer, she's the executive director of the Association of Idaho Cities. She's my counterpart in Idaho. Ms. Packer and I work closely together to ensure that Western state voices play a role in national programs and within national organizations like the NLC. Amelia Porterfield, the Director of Regional Solution, and Brenda Bateman, the Director of the Department of Land Conservation and Development Director, two state agency directors who try really hard to work with cities, counties, and special districts to make sure that state and local government collaboration is real and not imagined. If you see any of these honored guests, please make sure that you welcome them to our event. Spend some time with them. Share your experiences, learn from their work, and identify ways where maybe there's a potential for future collaboration between what you do and what they do. Third, it's important for us to acknowledge the generous contributions of our conference sponsors and vendors. Now, I'm not saying that our registration is cheap, but it is affordable because we rely upon the generous support from those conference sponsors and vendors. They help us keep our cost as low as possible. They make sure that we can provide scholarships to those city officials who would not be able to attend otherwise, and they make sure that we can put forward exceptional conferences. So I hope that you will all join me in thanking our sponsors and vendors when you see them, and when you see them, don't just thank them, talk to them. Find out if there's ways that the products, the services, the programs they provide, can they help you do what you need to do in your community? They're your partner, and let's develop ways to partner with them. And in support of them, we have this exhibitor passport. Now, we usually give out prizes for our exhibitor passports, and nobody really plays, to be perfectly honest. So we're gonna bribe you. If you play this year and you turn it in, instead of a conference registration, which only 3 people seem to get excited about each year, there are 10 separate Visa gift cards in the amount of $50. So if you complete the exhibitor passport, you will A, meet your vendors, you will B, figure out how you can partner with them to make your city better, and you will C, enter yourself in for a chance to win a Visa gift card. So please play. Fourth, I hope you are all actually planning to attend the Saturday annual business meeting. I know that business meetings are not always fun, but they are actually really important for the League. It's where you elect your vice president for next year, and you will also have 3 directors at large for you to vote on. Each city has to have a registered voting delegate. If you haven't registered your voting delegate yet, not now, but when this session is over, please go downstairs to the registration desk and make sure that you get a delegate's name lodged with LOC staff. Quick reminder from the lawyers on staff, last year at the annual membership meeting, you changed your constitution to eliminate nominations from the floor. For those of you who are veterans at our conference, this means for the first time ever, you will not see nominations from the floor happening. So that's all of the notes my staff said I had to tell you about. They're all very important, weren't they? Okay, so it's my pleasure today to introduce the sponsor of our keynote address. The keynote is being sponsored by Portland General Electric. PGE provides safe, reliable, and increasingly clean electricity to more than 950,000 customers in 51 of our cities through 7 counties, and it serves 1.9 million Oregonians. Since 1889, PGE has partnered with local governments to power progress, strengthen community resilience, and advance energy goals, supported by generation facilities located across the state. In 2024, PGE and its employees contributed $5.5 million and nearly 23 hours of volunteer time to over 480 nonprofit organizations. That's clapworthy. Here today from PGE to introduce our keynote speaker is Larry Bechtel. He's the Senior Vice President for Advanced Energy Delivery with PGE. Larry is responsible for advancing PGE's strategy to build the grid of our future, one that is resilient, one that is smart, and one that will deliver clean energy for us all. He oversees PGE's strategic system architecture and system upgrades. I don't know what any of that means in full transparency, which will serve as the foundation for the smart grid of our future, which I also don't understand. Larry joined PGE in 2014 as Vice President of Transmission and Distribution. He has more than 4 decades of leadership experience within the energy industry. Before joining PGE, Larry was Senior Vice President for Transmission Services at the Bonneville Power Administration, and he has held leadership positions at Clark Public Utilities, Pacific Corp, and Montana Power Company. So please do what we do best in this state and help me welcome to the stage PGE's Senior Vice President of Advanced Energy Delivery, Mr. Larry Bechtel.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Let me start by thanking President Engelke. Great to meet you and really to see your excitement. And I'm going to apologize. Maybe we use the same bot, AI, that writes speeches. So we'll be careful here. Mayor Wilson, thank you. Thank you for hosting us here in the great city of Portland. And thanks for your courage and the leadership that you continue to show. And to the executive director, Patty. It is a real pleasure to see you again. Patty and I had a chance to meet here back a few months, and she came to our office, and we had a geek out session. It was fun, and I really appreciate the energy that you bring to this organization and the leadership that you're doing. So I know it's not 9 to 5, I can tell that. But most of all, I want to thank all of you. And if I heard the number correctly, over 450 of our city leaders here at this convention, and for your commitment, your community vision, and for putting service above self. I recognize the countless ways you show up for your communities every single day. So a big thank you to all of you for what you do for the communities of Oregon. It is truly an honor for Portland General Electric to sponsor this historic 100th annual event. Portland has been our headquarters since 1889, and for more than 130 years, we've partnered with Oregon cities to power homes, businesses, and dreams. When we first started, electricity was a novelty. It meant a single light bulb in a shop. It meant a street light on Main Street where people would stop and stare. Fast forward 100 years, and we can't imagine life without electricity. It powers everything from coffee makers in the morning to your kids' laptops to the live streaming of your council meetings. Somewhere between the rotary phone and the smartphone, electricity quietly became the backbone of modern life. Just as cities deliver essential services like water, sewer, public safety, PGE delivers the energy that makes those systems thrive. We are all, in our own way, utilities. And our shared mission is simple but profound: to serve people. That's why this conference matters. The League of Oregon Cities has spent a century empowering leaders, strengthening communities, and reminding us that while challenges are real, so is our collective ability to partner and solve problems together. At PGE, we're committed to building that grid of the future, one that's smarter, cleaner, and more resilient, because we know the decisions we make today will shape Oregon's communities for the next 100 years. We also know we can't do it alone. We need strong city partners and gatherings like this to remind us how powerful that partnership can be. So as we celebrate the past milestones of this century, I'm inspired by what's ahead, the chance to build thriving and sustaining communities for the next generation. Portland General Electric is proud to be your partner on this journey. We look forward to continuing to work with the League of Oregon Cities and with all of you. And now, I'm excited to introduce our keynote speaker that I know that you're going to love, Jason Dorsey. Jason has appeared on over 200 TV shows, including 60 Minutes and The Today Show. Jason has led more than 150 research studies around the world. His passion is to separate myth from truth through data. Kind of sounds like the Mythbusters. He wrote his first best-selling book at the age of 18, and his latest bestseller is called Z Economy: Insights on Generation Z. And for all of those of you that haven't Googled that yet, that's the age of right now 13 to 28. So think of those 20-year-olds on your staff right now. That's Generation Z. Now, there's one quote that I have to share that I really appreciate of Jason. He says, "Technology is only new if you remember the way it was before." Let's see, black and white TVs, party lines on telephones. I've got a lot of new technology being a boomer. So please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, Mr. Jason Dorsey.
Oh my goodness, you guys, was that amazing or what? That was Jason. Huge round of applause for him. That was fantastic. So I am a Gen Xer. That's probably not a big surprise to many of you. I have embraced technology, and I have a terrible memory. So what that has led me to do is to keep a digital diary. So I like to take pictures of things. And I'm going to teach you all something, and this is how to take a good group photo. I was showing this to one of the counselors from Coos Bay earlier, but a little trick here. If you want to take a big group photo with people, if you have an iPhone, you can go to your timer, you can put it on 3 seconds, and then we're going to do something like this. So everybody smile, don't flip me off or anything. And I'm going to give you, I'll give you a 1, 2, 3, and we're going to take the photo, okay? Yeah, whatever works. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Thank you for sharing that memory with me. Well, that was amazing. We appreciate Jason's speech, for sharing his story, the vision, and the insights with our cities this afternoon. And I just want to make sure that we give a special thank you to PGE for sponsoring our keynote address. Thank you. I do encourage everybody to search online for more of his inspiring stories and messages from Jason. So thank you again. I do want to make sure I give you a few quick reminders before we adjourn. First, if you haven't already, please make sure that you download the LOC conference app. This will provide all the information you need as a conference attendee. You can connect with other people on the app as well. If you need help with the app, ask a millennial. Just kidding. Please stop by the Ask LOC booth located next to the registration desk. And then for those of you who have downloaded the app, please take a moment to provide us with your feedback on today's sessions. This is how you can give valuable feedback and help with the next conferences. So all you have to do is you can do this by clicking on the session in the app and then by clicking on the feedback button. If you don't see the feedback button, add the session to your conference agenda. And if you don't do that, you cannot complain. Up next is our welcome reception. I hope you all enjoy us for that. The LOC invites elected officials and government employees to this reception. It's a great opportunity to visit with your fellow city officials, enjoy some appetizers and some beverages, and visit with your representatives from our sponsors, and we'll also just have a nice welcome reception. We do want to make sure that we thank the sponsors of this year's welcome reception, which is NPP Gov, FCS Group, Outfront Media, HomeServe, Aetna, and WBCP. The welcome reception will be getting underway shortly, and we will be having that upstairs on the second floor in the Mount Hood and Mount St. Helens rooms. Please note, you will need to wear your badge to attend the reception. By the way, did anybody get a caricature this afternoon from Comcast? Make sure you visit that booth. All of the booths have such wonderful things to look at and discuss with them. So go get your caricature done, Comcast. So following the reception, we invite you to venture downtown for dinner and enjoy the unique food scene here in Portland. Then, beginning at 7:30 p.m., there will be a caucus mixer, and this will also be in the Mount Hood and Mount St. Helens room on the second floor. There's drinks, snacks, really fun games. If you haven't been to one of the caucus mixers, please join us for that. You'll get to enjoy all that with your peers. And then finally, looking ahead till tomorrow, we'll get things underway at 7 a.m., don't blame me for that, with breakfast in the exhibit hall, followed by our small, medium, and large city networking sessions at 8 a.m. Then at 9:15 tomorrow, we'll have our first set of tours and breakout sessions. Tomorrow evening, we'll hope you'll be able to join us for the awards dinner, and that begins at 6 p.m., and that will be immediately followed by the president's reception. I heard she's amazing. And that's at 8 o'clock. It's going to be a full and busy day here at the conference, and I am so glad that I am here to share this with you. So thank you, everyone. We'll see you shortly at the welcome reception. So enjoy the rest of your time here at our 100th LOC conference.